presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has called for the merger of opposition political parties to save Nigeria from becoming one-party state. And Peter Obi faults federal government's bankruptcy claim, says federal government should, quote, disclose what it inherited, unquote. I am Bola Oba, and this is Plus Politics. The Labour Party has described the 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar's merger proposal, as a good proposal that should be considered. However, the new Nigeria People's Party said it could only accept the proposal if Atiku would support a former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Kwankwaso, to wrest power from the ruling All Progressives Congress in 2027. Atiku made the merger proposition while hosting the National Executive Committee of the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria. Joining us live is Diran Odeyemi, former PDP Deputy Publicity Secretary, National Deputy Publicity Secretary. Diran, good to have you guest on Plus Politics.
Thank you very much, Bola. I'm happy to be with you this evening.
The pleasure is all mine, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
How do we start with the suggestion, opinion, or indeed, whatever one may call it, of the former vice president? How would you want to respond to the proposition?
Yeah, the proposition is a good development for Nigeria. It is very good for democracy, and not only for Nigerians and even practitioners of democracy in Nigeria. But having said that, you stand to query the sincerity of the proposition. The Yorubas, or let me say, we see the call as medicine after death. If this proposition has come before the election, we will not be where we are today. And I want to believe that even before the election, there was a kind of an understanding among the three of them. But the point is, what the NNPP has just said. Who is going to step down for one another? It is all about ego. It is all about me, myself, and I. And you are talking of the same person. So as far as I'm concerned, much or good as it is, as an opposition for the politics we play in Nigeria, good as it is, in view of the fact that APC has tried it before, and as a matter of fact, they won some states, and it really worked for them. But as it is now, are the gladiators ready to step down for each other for this union, or for them to agree together on a particular candidate? I don't see it as happening. Atiku is desperate to be the president. Likewise, Obi, so Kwankwaso. If you look at the three of them, they are all products of PDP. Obi was the vice presidential candidate of Atiku in the last election. A
penultimate election.
If it's so much believed that in unison they can defeat APC, he wouldn't have gone away to say yes, he wants to form, to become a candidate on his own, going to Labour. So also Kwankwaso. So just like I said, it's a good development if it can happen, but I don't see it happening. That's the truth.
So you believe that the suggestion is good, but all the elements of realpolitik, that is pragmatic politicking, does not convince or do not convince you that it could materialize?
Not at all, not in any way. I don't see it happening.
But you will agree with me if I say that from the 1959 federal elections to all the major federal elections, especially presidential elections since 1999, the divisiveness and the dissipating effect of that divisiveness of the opposition parties have actually ushered in. As we speak now, we have a president who won the election with less than 30% of the 30% total vote cast. So I think it's about time the leaders of the disparate opposition parties found a way of bringing their forces together to save themselves from the wastefulness, electoral wastefulness that we saw in the last elections in February. Don't you think so?
You are saying the obvious. Just like I said, it is medicine after death. I didn't mean they called themselves together before the last presidential election. PDP will have won this election hands down. If you look at the number of votes garnered by Obi and Kwankwaso and Atiku, if we put them together, if you add them together, Tinubu wouldn't have won that election. Now, in fact, I laughed when I saw the three of them, at the Supreme Court. They were all seated waiting for miracle to happen, whereas they did not work for it. The best way and the best thing I think as opposition, what will work for them is for the three of them to come together and say, yes, we want to agree on a particular candidate. And with this, we will go into this election with the incumbent president. That's the way out. But to what extent will they agree among themselves is the question. I don't see, by now, I don't see Obi stepping down for Atiku. Neither will Atiku want to step down for Kwankwaso. So we are still back to square one. And that's why I don't understand the purpose of this call. It is good for democracy. It is a way of, putting the APC on their toes. It is a good way of, a good opposition that will help Nigerians. But to what extent is this practicable? That is the question. And as far as I am concerned, I'm a practical politician. I don't see it happening. If it happens, I will clap that perhaps the opposition are now ready to take on APC and possibly take on power.
But as a national politician yourself, with a degree of visibility and in the same party as the protagonist of the idea, I would have thought that you would have been thinking of a way to also be supporting the idea. You are not quite disagreeing with the idea, but you are saying that is not pragmatic. That
you see, to a certain extent, when you are in politics, you should be able to tell yourself and you should be able to know what is practicable. You should be able to be realistic with the personality and the people you are dealing with. If I were in their position, it is very easier for me to say, yes, in the larger interest of our political party, in the larger interest of Nigerians, I'm ready to step down my personal ambition to become the president of this country. But how many of them can say that? That is the question. And I am not Atiku. Neither am I Obi. Neither am I even in the position to say, can you drop your ambition for the generality or for the larger interest of Nigerians? Not only Nigerians, even your political party. But who among them will want to step down? PDP will claim, yeah, we are the biggest party after APC. If we are the biggest party, we only lost an election. Labour will tell you, yes, I have the youth supporting me, and by the special grace of God, in the next dispensation, I will win the election. I know where I feel. He will only support that coalition if they are ready to present him as the presidential candidate. You already see the result. That Obi has not spoken his mind is never an indication that he's not going to object to Atiku becoming the president, because this was exactly what happened. If not, Obi and Atiku will have remained in PDP and ensure that they march together and get the vote from everywhere, so that one of them will have become the president today. But where are we? United. We were not united.
Can I reasonably infer from your very logical submission that even for somebody as profoundly loyal to your party, the PDP, as you, I may be just smelling a kind of maybe disillusionment with the seeming perpetuation of the Atiku figure over your party. Maybe even somebody like you is even tired that Atiku should be thinking of not coming out in 2027. Or am I being over speculative?
Atiku has never indicated that they want to contest again. When we get to the bridge, we will know how to cross it. As far as I am concerned, he remains our presidential candidate that lost that election. This is the second time. So perhaps if he now comes out to say, yes, I want to give it a trial again, then we will know where we are going. But at now, let us leave it at that he remains our leader in PDP. But as far as I am concerned, until he comes out to declare that he wants to contest again, for the third term, then we know what we are saying.
And you just third time, okay? It's far more than third time now. The last time.
No, I'm just let me put it moderately.
Okay.
Third time consecutively.
Okay. And you think that suggestion was just for altruism? It was not a strategic suggestion that would ultimately lead in the direction of his emergence as the main opposition candidate in 2027?
There are a lot of hurdles to be crossed. We just finished an election and we have almost 3.5 years to go into the next one. Don't forget, as PDP, we still have our national convention where the new National Executive Council will be elected. And you never can say the politicking and the kind of arrangement that we are going to have in PDP. You never can say who are going to be the emerging new leaders in PDP that will now, dictate or show us who eventually will likely be our presidential candidate. So it's too early for anybody to project or to predict that this is what is going to happen. As it is, we know there are a lot of issues and there are a lot of hurdles to be crossed by whoever is going to become our presidential candidate. It's not going to be easy. So I cannot predict, and I don't know the mindset of our leader, Atiku, if he's going to contest as a presidential candidate again or aspirant.
And as somebody who functions from a state that is controlled by the PDP, and where you have a governor from the PDP, and it does seem to be a bit popular. Your remark now may be construed to be you don't want to endorse Atiku up front because you never know your governor, or maybe one of the aspirants for the candidature of the party in 2027. I'm just thinking aloud. You may want to help me or slap me down.
I have a governor in Osun State who believes in democracy and gives everybody the right to do whatever it is they think is proper. Let me tell you this. In the last presidential election in Osun State, majority of the politicians, followed our presidential candidate, Atiku. Dinrodeyemi, happens to be the coordinator for Nyesom Wike in Osun State. And that did not cause any rift among us. We all went to Abuja. The delegates voted according to their conscience. And the governor gave us all the liberty. He gave me the maximum cooperation and support as an individual. And he did not use that against me, either in appointment or in relationship, and in whatever form. So the governor is somebody who understands politics very well. I will believe that whatever it is as an individual you believe in, go for it. So he's not going to coerce anybody to say, because I'm supporting this candidate, all of us should go there. Governor Ademola Adeleke is not somebody like that. And that is why people love him, because he's a happy-go-lucky guy. He's somebody that believes in democracy. He's somebody that has lived abroad and knows the importance of, individual freedom. So there is that freedom. So don't let us preempt that he might support this candidate, and because I may support another candidate where he's going to cause any risk. Not in any way. He doesn't operate like that. He doesn't operate like that. That is not his character.
You have, in the best way possible, articulated the fact that it would have been the best thing to do, but the vaulting ambitions of the principal characters, former Vice President Atiku, former Governor Obi, former Governor Kwankwaso, may not make it happen. But should people like you who know that it may be one of the most effective strategies to get the opposition out of the cul-de-sac, the opposition is in Nigeria now, should people like you also be canvassing for it at the middle level of leadership in the opposition parties?
You see, in politics, the majority may have their way, but the minority will have their say. Just like I said at the beginning of this program, it is the best proposition and the best way to get APC out of governance. And Nigerians are actually waiting for a kind of unity and understanding among all these small opposition parties and the bigger ones to come together. APC has tried it, and they won certain states and became so popular when they all agreed to change names and they became ACN and now APC. It was that agreement among them that has made them to win election today. So it will not be a bad idea. And of course, we all know the truth. And just like you are saying, to appeal to our leaders to put aside their personal desire for leadership, for presidency, in the overriding interest of Nigerians and we that are in the political party. It shouldn't be about them. It should be about how best can we take power. How best can we win an election? It is a strategy. It is practicable. It is something that we can do and achieve. If they continue with these individual ambitions here and there in all these political parties, you can never get a right result by doing something wrong all over and repeating it, all the time. The best way is change your style, change the strategy, be more practical with yourself. Think about Nigeria. Share your ambition, lower the ego, and let us come together and strategize on how to win election. And I believe this is one of the best ways.
Listening to you, I just wish that the three political titans that it does seem that you are preaching to, I wish they could listen to you and at least know that this is a project that transcends anybody's personal ambition. But using your logic, it may be very difficult for these three personages to want to roll the die for nationalism at the expense of their vaulting ambition.
Exactly.
What is the way forward for your party now? Because it does seem that it is a shrinking titan.
You see, there is no joy in never falling. The joy is rising up each time you fall. PDP is down, but we are not out. As a political party of eminent personalities, as a political party that consists of political ideologists, we will all re-strategize, we will all come together to review why we failed and to project how option we have as a political party. And that is why some of us, irrespective of what happens, we never join any political party because we believe in the ideology of PDP. That as a political party, there is nothing bad in being an opposition.
If you
There is nothing bad
do you know,
in being a yes.
if you may just kindly help me, what is the ideology of PDP? Just talking to a Nigerian political chieftain now, and maybe I'm lost.
Taking it from the motto. When you say PDP, you say power belongs to the people. It is the only democratic party whereby internal democracy is enshrined. It is the only political party where son of nobody can become somebody. It is not a political party where an individual dictates or where you must have belonged to a court or your father must have belonged to a political party before you can emerge. So the ideology there is that as an individual, as a Nigerian, it is your political party. That is more than enough for anybody to say, if you want to join a political party, come to PDP. That is where your intellectual ability, your political sagacity can be recognized and appreciated. So, as far as I'm concerned, that is more than enough to say, yes, this is a political party where internal democracy is enshrined. Look at it this way. In PDP, there has never been a governor, rep, or even House of Assembly that were dismissed by the court simply because they did not organize their internal election, freely. That's just an example for you. So, apart from the abracadabra that may happen in some states, as far as we know, in PDP, we are all equal and we have equal rights. I became the Deputy National Public Secretary without any godfather. Nobody knows my dad. Nobody knows anything about me. But they look at my credentials as a journalist with my performance as, having served as a special advisor in Oyo State and with my activities in Osun State. And when it was done between Oyo and Osun, they freely gave it to me without asking question. Do you belong to any court? Was your father a former this or a former that? That is more than enough to say in PDP, we have that ideology. And again, we are concerned about Nigerians. It's quite unfortunate that we did not win the presidential election. We wouldn't have been in this situation. But let us leave that. It's a story for another day. And I'm happy with the way Nigerians have seen what APC is doing. We have not spent up to 6 months or a year. People are regretting casting their vote for APC. What will now happen after 1 year? And this is why PDP must get their act together and ensure that they stand as a responsible opposition so that Nigerians will have an alternative.
This is a very good place to leave it. At least I have been reschooled now. If I had ever forgotten on the ideology of the PDP. So it's a party that any Nigerian can join and be somebody. Thank you, Diron. Exactly. Always a pleasure engaging you. Thank you. We'll go on a short break, and when we're back, we'll take on the second segment of the show.